Well, there's a controversial bill headed to Washington Governor Jay Inslee's desk. If signed, Senate Bill 5599 would allow youth centers to bypass biological parents and notify the state's Department of Youth and Families if a child shows up at their facilities seeking reproductive health care and gender-affirming care.
Under the state's current law, licensed youth shelters must contact the person's parents within 72 hours unless there are, quote, compelling reasons not to. Our Peter Choi spoke to both supporters and opponents of the bill and joins us in studio now with how this could impact families.
Yeah, the people who I spoke to tell me they want the best for kids and parents. Supporters say this could be life-saving for trans youth, while opponents say it could cut parents out of important and potentially life-altering decisions.
Providing free clothes, meals, and access to health care, local youth center Odyssey Youth Movement in Spokane is for kids identifying as LGBTQ+.
We do programs on things like LGBTQ+ history and culture, and we have a number of resources in the space as well that are always free for them to access.
The organization's outreach manager, Chandler Wheeler, welcomes Senate Bill 5599.
I would have had nowhere to turn.
As someone who identifies as transgender, Wheeler says they understand some of the frustration. Wheeler believes this bill could help children, particularly trans youth who don't feel safe at home.
So let me ask you this. Do you think this bill is life-saving for kids?
Absolutely. I think it's life-saving because, to be honest, it's way more risky if a kid goes to a shelter, they call the parents come pick them up, and then they can't access their gender-affirming care anymore. I mean, and that's like best case scenario with that, right? Like, they can no longer get HRT. Okay, that is still really life-threatening for a lot of youth who need their bodies to reflect who they are.
These are our children, and yes, we are not going to agree with everything that they do or every choice that they make, but that doesn't mean that we don't love them, and it doesn't mean that we don't want to take care of them.
Opponents, including the Washington State Catholic Conference, say this bill would undermine the relationship between parents and children.
When the children are seeking these other services, you know, we do think that the parents should be involved and be able to lead and guide their children.
The organization says it cares about the LGBTQ+ community, but it wants to have parents to be part of the conversation.
The state Senate voted to agree on amendments made by the State House, and now the bill is heading to the Governor Inslee's desk. It will go into effect 90 days after being signed into law. In studio tonight, Peter Choi, 4 News Now.